investigation is pending, and because I'm part of the investigative process, she doesn't think it is appropriate for me to hold a position, and that is the right of the Prime Minister. What I think quite ironic is that during the email case situation, when she as the Prime Minister, she was actually the person who was a suspect. And likewise, the Attorney General and a few other ministers, we did not have that same level playing field. So it means that the goalposts have shifted quite conveniently because, and in contrast to myself, I am not in any way a suspect. I am not implicated. The Commissioner of Police can confirm that in no way am I involved in any aspect of any wrongdoing in this matter. What I am is a volunteer witness that is willing to assist the police in their investigation. And again, all one can look at is based on the press release done by Mr. Barrett, when he made a false and damning statement of myself, stating that I made false claims about the cabinet, which I never did. He also stated that I breached cabinet confidentiality, which I did not do. And when I tell the release, he cannot answer. And that is another matter that would also go to the court, because now there would be some price to pay for that, because he has tarnished my name with no authority, with nothing to verify that. So it was a red herring, it flopped. So they went back to the issue itself, which was the investigation. But again, I wish to conclude, it is very unfortunate that the Prime Minister was trying to allude to the fact that I am involved in some type of questionable activity when the Commissioner of Police can verify that in no way am I a suspect in any matter at all.
Mr. Griffith, one of the things that the Prime Minister said was that you did not inform her of the phone call, and that there was some kind of possible
yes, so that's quite comical. It's like indicative of the red herring that Mr. Louis Roth used in the presence of my wife, and I tried to justify what if it is that I should go ahead and see what I intended to say. The fact being is that if the Attorney General contacted me, and he does on dozens of times per day to send messages as we work together as a team, that's what the Attorney General and Ministers of National Security do, later with the Minister of Justice or the Commissioner of Police, or the Attorney General asked me if it is that I can confirm with Mr. West if he has withdrawn a document. I'd like to take a message like that to tell the Prime Minister. I think it is very unfortunate, it is quite comical. And again, it is the court of public opinion would decide. It is the right of the Prime Minister, if she sees that as the reason to remove a Minister of National Security. That is her right, and we have to respect that. It is also the right of the public to see through something as transparent as it is. Because the fact being is if the Attorney General asks me if it is that to find out if someone has withdrawn a document, if that becomes a reason, some type of rationale that I should waste the Prime Minister's time and answer. But again, that is the world according to Louis Roth, who actually told me the same thing. And it's quite ironic that the Prime Minister has now come up with another similar excuse.
One of the things that you were quoted as saying yesterday in the news as it relates to what the Minister of Trade would have said as it relates to this whole Ernie Ross matter, etc., and what would have happened in last week's cabinet meeting. You said you never said, or you were not quoted as saying what would have happened in cabinet with members allegedly trying to sway your position. But that is not to say that it is not true.
Correct. There are two different things. At no time have I been quoted as stating that the cabinet pressured me, which is not the case. Cabinet did not pressure me. At no time has it been shown, in contrast to the erroneous release by the Minister of Communication, that I breached cabinet confidentiality. And again, nothing is further from the truth. What is a fact, however, and I cannot deny, is that was there some type of pressure put upon me? Were there situations where certain members of cabinet tried to persuade me of the disadvantages that will take place if I decide to tell the truth? The answer is yes. And that also will be going before the police, because it is very unfortunate that, again, Minister Barrett will jump the gun, make a release like that. And there's a saying that don't protest too much. But the fact of the matter is that there were situations, and we also went to another office of a communication specialist with Minister Barrett upstairs. When he called me to that meeting, the communication person contacted my wife. We sat down and we were interrogated to show me all the wrong reasons what will happen to me if I speak the truth. What I can say in summary is that I stand on principle, and I would like all your persons to see what has happened today. You must not ever tell sell your soul for personal gain or for 30 pieces of silver. I did what was right. I held my head proud. I can walk and know that I did what was required. Certain persons apparently they were not pleased by the fact of what I intended to do, and I intend to continue to operate in that manner. I will always be a soldier first before a politician, probably. I am very pleased and proud with what I have done. My parents rest their soul. I think they will be very proud of me. And I have young persons, do not ever sell your soul for personal gain. Do what is right. I think it's time that politicians in this country start operating in the same manner.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith, for joining us on the line. Mr. Griffith just confirmed one of the things that you said when we initially started the interview.
Well, this
with the resignation versus a firing.
We in the opposition pay very close attention to words. The Prime Minister was very calculating in her run-up to that statement, which is why I spotted it. The trinkets put out before the population tonight of a few changes and nice dynamics, new leader of the NJAC, a popular hero in sports, etc. That is to run away from the fact of a few simple core principles. 1, Section 34 reloaded. 2, witness tampering, criminal offense, 20 years in jail, $100,000. 3, aiding and abetting in the commission of a crime. You heard the most spectacular event in the history of Trinidad and Tobago tonight. I cannot recall, certainly from my research or in my living memory, a minister of government coming forward on the airwaves immediately after an event to say, I told the truth, I insisted I would tell the truth, and I was punished for it.
Wow.
That's a very serious statement on the part of a minister who was my political opponent up to a couple minutes ago. But he has, I want to point out in fairness to him, he's always stood a ground. The ground was stood on live sport, while the Prime Minister beat the desk and said, long live live sport. While Anil Roberts was speaking, Gary Griffith said, there's criminality in there. And you know what? There's worse in Hoop of Life, and there's worse in other places. So, what is the message to Trinidad and Tobago, Madam Prime Minister? Conflict of interest? If so, we demand that the Prime Minister resign tonight, because she's a person in a conflict of interest position in the email gate investigation.
And is this something that the opposition is going to put pressure for her to do as we wrap?
I want to give you a few ideas of it. The fact is that there is so much that is wrong with the Prime Minister's statement tonight. And if we take Minister Griffith, ex-Minister Griffith, at his word tonight, he said he's a soldier first, and the truth must prevail. But if you look at the timeline and the consistency of his statements, you will notice they fall. And I want to refute categorically, with the information that I have as the attorney involved in the litigation, the issue of David West and there being any reason for him to resign. He is a witness of fact. There is no conflict of interest. When there was an allegation of a conflict of interest with respect to Ken Gordon as the head of the Integrity Commission, he stepped aside. There was a similar gallery made with respect to Gillian Lucky.
We're going to have to wrap it there tonight, though. Thank you so much.